Cthulhu Jack.
Dr. Herbert West has become equal par with the likes of Dr. Frankenstein.
Dr. Frankenstein!
My name is Frankenstein!
In these modern times, since this little unrated film from 1985 slid onto the screen, with top critics praising not only the astounding special effects work by some old pals of mine, but also with the story and characters themselves. The original cut of the film was almost 3 hours, which I would love to lay these great old ones' eyes on. But for now, let's grab our bone saw, our reagent, and toss that dead cat in the freezer.
Shut up.
And dial back to 1985, when Dr. Herbert West and Dr. Dan Kane became not only roommates,
Write a note.
I was busy pushing bodies around, as you well know. And what would a note say, Dan? Cat dead, details later.
but each other's morbid support system. In H.P. Lovecraft's Re-Animator, this 86-minute gore feast I first laid my youthful eyes on when it rolled out on VHS back in the day. I had never heard of author H.P. Lovecraft from what I remember. I had been reading Poe and Lord of the Rings at the time. But once the lights dialed up and my jaw firmly back in my skull, my adolescent brain spun like a Huffy wheel on the way to the dime store. I was not only hooked on Lovecraft's writing, but who the heck was
Mr.
West. Herbert West.
So why has Re-Animator endured for the last 39 years? Bigger now more than ever. Prior to it laying dormant as a cult film stuffed away in a morgue. It's perfect, bombastic. Watching the unrated version for the countless time, I wanted to touch upon a few items, so this may be more of a love fest than an actual bullet point review. All the relationships are believable and natural. Dr. Hill, played by the fearless David Gale, gives one of the best Hammer film vampire-esque vibe performances. With his hypnotizing glare and horrendous toupee, he's always one step ahead of everyone else. Dan Kane, played by Bruce Abbott, was always an interesting choice. He came across to me as Ashley J. Williams' more competent, slightly older brother. They look and dress similar, and they both have the unfortunate luck of living in a Lovecraftian world. Hell, both actors even have the same first name. I had always wanted them to team up and stop the Deadites, maybe even have West in tow for good measure. Dean Halsey's daughter Meg, played by Barbara Crampton, manages to stumble in at the worst times in this film. I really was heartbroken not only the first time, but watching it again. That poor gal goes through literal hell. She can't even rest in peace. Barbara was a true trooper in her performance here. Meg and Dan's relationship is so sweet, and I love the foreshadowing in the bedroom with Dan rising up under the sheet to mimic the horrors to come. Jeffrey Combs' arrival in the opening is nothing more than spectacular, and how you would 100% open this film. I agree with producer Brian Usna on this. It was his idea to have the prologue. That Dr. Frankenstein moment is key.
I gave him life.
Combs may not resemble the blonde, blue-eyed H.P. Lovecraft idea of his original character. It doesn't matter. Combs was born for this role. His sharp, nuanced glares to his stoic moments of silence are fun to watch, especially his barbs with Dr. Hill. One of my favorite exchanges is in the basement laboratory, where Hill and West tow off with Hill spellbinding our good doctor. The actions from West reveal not only that he was searching for someone of Hill's caliber to respect and appreciate his discovery, but also a bit of a father figure, telegraphed by West's little boy posture here. All these little details throughout the film are just blossoms of genius. There's not a single character on screen wasted. Even Mace, the morgue security guard played by the late Jerry Black, his reactions are just little cherries throughout. And he survives. I cannot forget Dr. Dean Halsey, played by the late Robert Sampson. I always remembered his performance fondly after he was Re-Animator, which is completely off the rails. But to focus in on his pre-dead performance is amazing. You never would expect this character's arc to turn the way it does. He's the MVP in this film for me. I was fortunate to work with special effects artist Anthony Devlin years later on many projects. He loved working on that film, and it shows. Director Stuart Gordon echoes the same sentiment about the whole crew's attitude while filming in an interview he did back in 2002. Shot over 2 weeks originally between Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve, this little film about a mad scientist bringing back the dead will continue to endure as a creative achievement, while time slips by delivering the everlasting nightmares from H.P. Lovecraft in this little-known creation of his, Dr. Herbert West, the Re-Animator. Until next time. Our first channel watch party double feature will air March 16th, right here on YouTube. So click links below to be notified. Many thanks for the support, and Hail Cthulhu!